So, Tarsha Nicole Jones, a.k.a. Miss Jones, a.k.a. Jonesy, you're a mess. I mean, you're like 52 years old and you're still lying on people. You know, for everything about Lamor Miller-Whitehead, the pastor out in Brooklyn, the reality is this. Don't lie on that man. Yes, he pushed that woman on video. Yes, it's a little bit suspect with what happened with the whole thing that went down with the robbery. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to call this man an outright criminal. He served his time in prison. He did that. I'm not going to say something that doesn't have any proof. Now this woman has a $50 million lawsuit because she accused him of being a street pharmacist. And I'm going to talk about it. So let's get into this. Hey everyone, it's your girl. I'm back. And we got to talk about Miss Jones and her nonsense. So it reads, Lamor Miller-Whitehead sues 94.7 The Block's Miss Jones for $50 million. And this is courtesy of the New York Post. The embattled Brooklyn bishop, who was allegedly robbed of $1 million in jewels during a live stream service, has filed a $50 million lawsuit against a New York radio personality who labeled him a street pharmacist on air. Tarsha Nicole Jones, the morning host at classic hip-hop station 94.7 The Block, WXBK, also claimed Lamor Miller-Whitehead was using the church to hide that old drug money and said his church is where he's probably still doing his dirty work, according to the Manhattan Supreme Court filing. Miller-Whitehead, 44, a pal of Mayor Adams, who previously did 5 years in prison for identity fraud and grand larceny, has been accused of being a slumlord in Connecticut, stiffened a campaign worker of $56,000 during a failed run for Brooklyn Borough President, and was briefly cuffed by cops after clashing with a woman at a Sunday service in September. The Gucci-loving pastor has also filed lawsuits against two YouTubers who accused him of being a scammer after the jewelry robbery for which two people were later arrested. Jones' September 13 comments are false, Miller-Whitehead said in court papers, which also named WXBK and Paramount. The station is owned by Odyssey, which did not return a message. A Paramount spokesperson said the company has been erroneously named in the suit. Bishop Whitehead is forced to file these lawsuits because he has been maliciously defamed by persons like Miss Jones, and he will continue to file lawsuits against any person who defames him, especially against those persons alleging that he is engaged in criminal conduct, which he is not, his lawyer Brian Ponder told the Post. A woman who answered a phone listing for Jones said only she has no comment. Now, I'm going to say something. I have never heard of 94.7 The Block, WXBK, and I live in New York, okay? I've never heard of this station at all. What I do know is that Miss Jones is a messy-ass bitch. She's been messy going back to the mid-90s, okay? She basically, I'm going to tell you what Miss Jones, I'm going to give you the backstory of Miss Jones. Miss Jones is from Brooklyn. She's a Scorpio. And she is a graduate of Syracuse University. She graduated in 1990, I believe 90 or 1991, with a Bachelor of Music degree. And she worked at the telephone company while she was shopping around her demo, because she really can sing. She's really vocally gifted. But what happened is she pretty much did get a contract, and she had a song called Where I Want to Be Boy in 94. Around that time, she also got hired to be a disc jockey at the newly created Hot 97. And so her first album did go gold. It really did go gold. But the second album was around 98. So she had left the station, and she really thought that she was going to blow up and sell a lot of records and be a competitor for her counterpart, Mary J. Blige. Now, Mary J. Blige and her, they didn't have the best relationship because there was a sense of animosity because Miss Jones felt she was the better singer and that she should have been where Mary J. Blige is. But, it didn't happen for her. And, things like that, it's the business is unpredictable. But what occurred is that after the second album flopped, she turned into sort of like a bootleg Wendy Williams. And that's when she started having enemies. Even with Wendy and her husband, because Wendy's husband allegedly put a hit out on her. And I'm not going to say that she was lying, but I'm not going to say that he did that. I don't know. It's 50-50. It's either true or not true. But Miss Jones was scandalous. She made fun of different people's cultures. She was making fun of the Asian community. She made fun of West Indians. She was calling them coconuts. I mean, she was just downright disrespectful. And yes, she made fun of her own people too. Okay, her own Black American people. She did. And that's why post 2008, she didn't work in New York radio for years. She got chased out of New York and went to Philadelphia. It wasn't safe for her. When her life was threatened, she got scared. But this goes back to the whole thing with Lamor, Miller-Whitehead. You may not like him, but does he deserve to be lied on and be accused of doing something if he's not doing it? No. I don't believe that he's selling drugs to the church. I just don't believe it. A person like him that has enemies already, that would have been out in the street. Is he a drug dealer? I don't know. Is he a scammer? Might, possibly. He could be scamming his parishioners, or he could be, back to his old hustle. But I'm not going to call this man a drug dealer and say that he's selling drugs out the church. And I'm going to say something. Lamar Miller should sue her. He should sue her. She has a history of lying on people. And she's the reason why a lot of people go at Wendy is because she made it national. But Miss Jones has done way worse than Wendy. Way worse. But Miss Jones has never been known nationally. Now, about 94.7. I'm going to take a listen to it. But I have to say, it's just all the people from New York radio who worked in Kiss FM, Hot 97, and the other radio station, WBLS. I don't know about Power 105.1, but they come from like the old New York radio era, and they're now on this channel. So they do throwbacks of 90s music and 2000s music, which is like throwback of hip-hop and R&B from 90s, 2000s. So I'll take a listen from it because I love that era of music, except for music from 98. I thought it was trash. But other than that, I'll take a listen. And I think that the lawsuit is deserving. And with that being said, I'm signing off. Thank you for listening and take care.